Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Jamaica News in Review. Police renew appeal for information in 8-year-old's murder case. Police on Wednesday renewed their appeal to the public for anyone with information relating to the death of 8-year-old Daniela Rule to come forward. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitzbailey made the urgent call while investigators returned to the scene on Roosevelt Avenue in St. Andrew, where Daniela was thrown from the vehicle with her throat slashed after being kidnapped from her school. Investigators were hoping to find additional evidence in the murder case. I am appealing to the motorist or anyone who was in the vicinity of Roosevelt Avenue within the period about 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Thursday, June 8, to jog your memory, check your dash cameras to see if you observe a female in a multicolored top and blue or denim kickers walking anywhere within this vicinity with a young child possibly with a knapsack on her back, DCP Bailey said. Police on Tuesday designated an image of a woman who they said is a person of interest in the murder case and asked the public to come forward with any information they may have. The photo, which has since made the round on social media, was developed using an electronic facial identification technique, the police stated. DCP Bailey went on to highlight the importance of finding the perpetrators of this brutal act. It is important that we really, collectively as a nation, pull our energy together to ensure that this case is not one of those that is placed on a shelf, but that the person who is responsible is brought to justice, he stated. All of us as Jamaicans, we have a duty to ensure that this is done. Most of us standing here, we are parents, so we understand what a child means to us, and for that child to be killed in such a brutal way, it must hit the nerves of every Jamaican, he added. Prime Minister Andrew Holness stresses the importance of students being picked up by an authorized person. Prime Minister Andrew Holness stressed the importance of having a child picked up from school by an authorized person. He made the point as he reiterated that the safety and security policy for all public schools will be reviewed. This comes in the wake of abduction and murder of 8-year-old Daniela Rule. The child was taken from the Brayton Primary School in Portmore, St. Catherine, then found hours later along Roosevelt Avenue in St. Andrew last Thursday. Her throat has been slashed, and despite ongoing emergency surgery, she succumbed on Saturday. Noting that there is evil in the society, he lamented that good nature cannot be taken for granted. Mr. Holness said such cruel incidents should not be allowed to become the norm. Having directed the Education Ministry to review school security policy, Holness pointed out that the review may include implementation of cameras, guards and gates.
All of what we're going to do in terms of the review of the school security policy for the release of a child, and in some schools, Madam Speaker, it is the case that only pre-approved persons can retrieve a child from a school. A stranger or a person who is coming for the first time can't just come and receive a child. A person who is unknown can't just come. There would have to be a call to verify that someone was sent. It is not the practice, unfortunately, in all our schools. Some people believe it is too much of an imposition on them. But where we are now in our society, Madam Speaker, where the general good-naturedness of our people can't be taken for granted, that there is evil among us, that we have to put these security measures in place. There are those who will say this is just grand talk, Madam Speaker, but expressing our disgust at what has happened on both sides is important to remind people that there is a line in the society that we shouldn't cross, and that we don't take it for granted when it happens, so that it becomes the standard and the common and the norm. This is not the norm, and we must stand up against it and speak out against it. Madam Speaker, I have asked the Commissioner of Police to place all the investigative resources into this case, and I'm asking the public to work with the police to bring the perpetrator to justice. The pressure of the society can bring the perpetrator to justice. I've asked the Minister of Education to immediately direct that the school safety and security policy be reviewed, particularly as it relates to the release of children at the closure of school, or if someone is coming to retrieve the child before school is out. That policy needs to be standardized, and where it may require the implementation of measures which would see cameras being installed or electronic gates or security guards, the ministry must put in place the resources to ensure that these measures can be.
Video footage shows Daniela Rule and the mystery woman in St. Andrew. Police investigators have video footage of slain 8-year-old Daniela Rule in the company of a woman in an area close to where she was found with her throat slashed, a top police official has confirmed. However, Deputy Police Commissioner Fitzbailey said the video quality is very poor. Bailey disclosed too that the woman's identity is not yet known. "You can't really see everything, but you know it's a woman," he stated. Rue, who is the daughter of a cop, died at Bustamante Hospital for Children on Saturday, almost 2 days after she was abducted outside her school. Bailey said investigators believe Rue was picked up by the woman at Brighton Primary and Infant School in St. Catherine. It is unclear how they traveled, but the video showed Rue and the woman near Roosevelt Avenue, near the National Stadium in St. Andrew. Deputy Commissioner of Corrections died of strangulation post-mortem. Deputy Commissioner of Corrections Reverend Arvin Moore, whose body was found off the Crosspoint Spur Tree Hill Main Road earlier this month, died as a result of strangulation, a post-mortem revealed. Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime Fitzbailey told reporters that the post-mortem was done on Monday. It is reported that the cause of death was due to strangulation. "It is not really surprising to us because we reported previously that we did not suspect any foreplay in his death," Bailey stated. He added that investigations are ongoing. "Our investigation is not closed, and we have not seen any evidence that there was any third party traveling with him, or there is no reason to have any suspicion that there was any third party at the location." Bailey also urged anyone with information about Moore's death to call 881-311 or 119. Moore was the acting Deputy Director of Rehabilitation and Probation Aftercare Service at the Department of Correctional Services and was last seen on Farewell Avenue, Mullines Road in Kingston on Monday, May 29. Reverend Moore began working with the department on February 1, 2003 as a probation officer. He was appointed on October 1, 2004. He was promoted on October 1, 2017 to Chief Probation Aftercare Officer. He was assigned Deputy Commissioner of Rehabilitation and Probation Aftercare Services on May 12, 2023. LASCA staff pay respect to late founder Lascelles Chang. Some LASCA Group staff members were overcome with emotions Monday as they paid their respect to former Lascelles Chang at a viewing ceremony for the late businessman at the company's headquarters on Red Hills Road in St. Andrew. Reporters understand that several staff members were moved to tears during the ceremony held on Monday morning. Among the teary-eyed workers was Chin's longtime personal assistant, Constance. Chin, who was the executive chairman of Lascelles Group of Companies at the time of his death, passed away on May 27 in Florida, United States, surrounded by family. He was 86. St. Ann laborer charged after Brownstone Market shooting. A St. Ann laborer was charged after he reportedly shot and injured 2 men in Brownstone Market on Saturday, May 6, 2022. Charged with 2 counts of wounding with intent, illegal possession of firearm and illegal possession of ammunition, is 30-year-old Bernardo Brown of Searchtown in St. Ann. Reports are that around 6:30 a.m., Brown entered the market with a firearm and opened gunfire, hitting 2 men multiple times. The police were alerted and the men were transported to hospital, where they were admitted. An investigation was launched and Brown was arrested. He was charged following a question and answer interview. His court date is being finalized. Chang says death of 8-year-old a tragedy, extreme act of brutality. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang, along with Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson and representatives of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Chaplaincy Unit, visited the family of Daniela Rule on Sunday to show support following the death of the 8-year-old in hospital. Rule was abducted from school in Portmore, St. Catherine last Thursday and was later thrown from a car with her throat slashed in Vineyard, St. Andrew. Passerbys reportedly found the girl and took her to hospital, where she was undergoing treatment before succumbing to her injuries on Saturday. Minister Chang stated that all elements of the police are involved in tracking down those responsible for the young girl's death, while describing the incident as a tragedy but an extreme act of brutality. All the investigative teams are on and taking advantage of all the technology that is available to ensure we can find the perpetrator, and we will not rest until we can find and bring them to justice and bring closure to the issue, which will help the family to at least get through this painful time, Chang stated. In a release on Saturday, the police stated that a cross-divisional investigation has been launched between the St. Andrew Central and the St. Catherine South police divisions. They reported that several lines of inquiry into the events that led to Rule's death are being followed. It was also revealed that Rule is the daughter of a serving member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. During the visit to the family's home in Portmore, St. Catherine, Dr. Chang gave assurances that professional counseling will be provided for the family, especially to Daniela's siblings, who are ages 16 and 4. We will ensure that they will not be only there shortly, but in the medium term, the kind of professional counseling which will be required for the family will be provided. I think elements of the JCF chaplaincy service will be going to the school and working with the school, Chang further stated. He continued, "We are going to work and do whatever is required to give support and find the perpetrator." St. Andrew siblings appeal murder sentence in death of mother and her children. The St. Andrew woman and her brother, who admitted to murdering a mother and 2 young children amid a tragic love triangle in 2018, believe their sentences of 36 years in prison before parole were too harsh and are seeking a reduction. At the same time, the coroner submitted that the judge erred in determining the starting point in relation to the first count, the mother's murder, and has asked that the pre-parole period be adjusted to 29 years. Jamila Leslie, a 32-year-old former qualified control inspector, and her brother, Javon Leslie, a 31-year-old construction worker, were sentenced in 2019 after pleading guilty to the stabbing death of Kashif Jackson, 36, and the murder of her week-old daughter, Arasan Williams, and her 23-month-old son, Avatar Williams, both of whom died after their house was set ablaze. The bodies of the 3 victims were found on July 18 inside their burnt-out home in Mavis Bank, St. Andrew. Jackson, who had received multiple stab wounds to the face, chest, abdomen, arms, and neck, died from the wound to the neck and smoke inhalation. The children also died from smoke inhalation. The siblings were given 3 life sentences for the murders, but were ordered to serve 36 years in prison before parole for Jackson's murder and 21 years for the children. They were also sentenced to 10 years for the larceny. While the sentence is set to run at the same time, the siblings are only to serve 36 years behind bars. The Leslies, however, have appealed their sentences on the ground that they were manifestly excessive. The matter was heard 3 days last week in the Court of Appeal, but the judges, Justices Frank Williams, Marcia Dunbar Green, and Nicole Foster Pusey, have reserved their ruling. According to the facts garnered from the siblings' caution statement, at the time of the incident, Jamila Leslie was involved in an intimate relationship with Jackson's common-law husband, 42-year-old farmer Artine Williams, who was the father of the 2 deceased children. He had also fathered a child with Jamila Leslie. Before the incident, Jamila Leslie received information that Arnell Williams and Jackson were involved and that they had moved in together after the birth of their second child. Williams had also come clean to Jamila Leslie about the situation. According to Jamila Leslie, who had been supporting Williams and her son financially, said she became the subject of jeers by community members as a result. She also stated that Jackson had sent her several threats. Consequently, on the night of the incident, she and her brother went to Jackson's home, where he both attacked and stabbed her several times. Then they removed the children from the bed and lit the mattress, locked the door, and left. However, Jamila Leslie said it was not her intention to burn down the house and kill the children, as she thought persons on the other side of the building would have rescued them. The woman, following the sentence, has expressed regret and remorse over her actions and had asked for forgiveness. Her brother, in his social inquiry report, expressed similar sentiments. According to him, he experienced crying spells and sleepless nights and has been reading his Bible to try to cope with his guilt. Javon Leslie said he was depending on God to carry him through the horrors of his action. Attorney at law Sanjay Simit represented him, while Andrea Walters represented his sister. Simit told reporters that both made similar submission, in which they argued that the sentence was reasonable, given that 2 infants were killed in the attack, but that the siblings should have been given greater discount, considering that they had indicated their guilt from the outset and they were sentenced as a result should be reduced. According to Simit, the court should consider giving his client the maximum discount of 33 1/3 of the early plea guilty or greater weight on that as a mitigating factor. Smith also argued that the sentence structure used by the judge was unusual and that it departed from the norm in that higher sentence is not usually imposed on the first count. He submitted that the starting point should have been 18 years and not 30 years. The Crown, in its submission, argued that the sentences from other charges except for Jackson's murder were within range and appropriate and has asked the court to affirm the sentences. However, it disagreed with the judge's starting point at 30 years for Jackson's murder and proposed that the sentence be adjusted to 30 years to life. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the